I speak to you in the name of the one holy and living God. Please sit. So long before becoming a priest, while in training to be a spiritual director, one of the faculty members, an Episcopal priest whom I shall call Sharon, told the story of her early religious experience. So her earliest memories were of walking every morning with her grandmother to Mass at the Roman Catholic Church. And little Sharon would place this white doily on her black curly hair, go inside, take a deep breath, wanting to hold in the scent of incense. And she just knew with her whole heart that she loved Jesus and Jesus loved her right back. And this was a story that was woven through her whole life, she said. And I listened politely while rolling the eyes of my heart. Because a few people later, it was my turn to share my experience, my early religious experience. And some of you may have heard this before. If you have, please bear with me. I was 4 years old. I was sitting on the floor in the Presbyterian Church nursery school, watching, rapt, as this lady was standing in front of us, moving felt figures on a board. I was glued to her every word, and I watched as she put Jesus on these pointy things, waves, somewhere between the beach and a boat. And my little pudgy arm just popped right up at the same time as my exclamation popped out of my mouth, "No, Jesus cannot walk on water." I know, we go to the beach. Dead silence followed. I knew I was in trouble. And it was confirmed when the Sunday school teacher informed my parents of my misdemeanor. And they later punished me for being impertinent or not polite. And the next Sunday, I was moved to a different Sunday school class with bigger kids. And I never spoke again in church, which is sort of ironic today. Think about it. But what I knew as a little girl was, nothing good could come out of those stories about Jesus. So that brings us to today, to the story about Jesus visiting Galilee, and Philip's sort of immediate receptivity, not only to follow Jesus, but also to try to enlist Nathanael to do likewise. Makes me think of Sharon's sort of completely unsuspicious acceptance, immediate acceptance of Jesus. That unswerving assent that has been woven through the tapestry of her whole life. And by contrast, there's Nathanael with his skeptical reaction to Philip's invitation. Nathanael says, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Sounds more like me. My inclination to roll my eyes and question and hesitate to follow. And I believe the very next exchange between Jesus and Nathanael is pivotal in this story. So immediately after Nathanael lays down his hesitating hand, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Jesus sees him. And what Jesus sees is more than Nathanael's questioning. He's not just the skeptic or the cynic. What Jesus sees is an opportunity to create the space and the spaciousness for them to be in relationship. And so Jesus says, "I see you, an Israelite, beyond deceit. Truthfully speaking, who you are and how you are right now." And so Jesus creates this opportunity to engage with Nathanael rather than to shut it off. So without judgment, Jesus sees Nathanael exactly as he is, which is, in this teaching tale, kind of represented by the fig tree. So let's take a minute and talk about trees. Trees stand in very significant places in the Bible, you know. In God's garden, there's the tree of life, and there's also the tree of good and evil, the knowledge of good and evil. There must have also been a fig tree, because Adam and Eve make the first, fashion faux pas wearing, what kind of leaves. The prophets Hosea and Jeremiah, they speak of people as figs on God's fig tree. And Michael, who's one of the 12 minor prophets in the Hebrew Testament, he describes a world of peace, which is led by a new king in the line of David. And he goes on to describe this world of peace as a world that looks like men sitting under their fig tree without fear. This new world is a world without fear. So what is the writer of John's text doing when he has Nathanael ask Jesus, "Where did you get to know me?" And Jesus answers, "I saw you sitting under the fig tree before Philip called you." I believe he is offering us a new page for our playbooks. Jesus shows us, the reader, a new, non-defensive, non-combative way to respond when people are skeptical or judgmental about our beliefs or positions, lifestyles or affiliations. A way in which to be open to stay in engagement and to create this spaciousness within which we can establish relationship and begin to see one another. Imagine what it would be like if, like Jesus, instead of leaping to defend ourselves or our positions, when someone questioned us or even judged us or criticized our social, political, or religious perspective, what if we responded like Jesus? I see you, an Israelite, a Republican, a Democrat, a progressive, a conservative, an activist, a pacifist, a centrist. I see you as you are, without deceit, sitting under your fig tree. And I affirm you wanting to be seen and to be heard and to be counted. I see you as you are, seeking security, safety, and esteem, just as I am. Might those people who we cast in some other camp, the other, might they be willing to come and see? Willing even to see us and our difference? In words painted on plaques and embroidered on tea towels, that prophet Micah, he insists that all people of God are meant to sit beneath their fig tree without fear, to live without fear. And who among us does not want to live without fear? It is a great equalizer. We share this. And the way beyond fear is to see one another as we truly are. Vulnerable human beings, striving to secure our fragile lives by whatever means are convenient. Whatever we have learned, whatever we have access to. We are not enemies. We are not enemies. We are as figs on a fig tree in God's garden. Figs in every state of ripe or readiness. figs that are reaching through the rare roots of the fig tree for livelihood, figs that are turning toward the sun for affirmation. So whether, like Philip, we meet Jesus and enjoy an instant connection and wholeheartedly say yes, and it kind of flows from there, or if we find ourselves more like Nathaniel, hesitating, rolling our eyes, not quite so sure, we want to let this Jesus take root and bloom in our hearts and minds and behavior. I pray that each and every one of us take to heart the words of our psalmist, the words of this song that give us every reason and hope to be fearless. And the psalmist saying, Lord, you have searched me out and known me. You know my sitting down and my rising up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You trace my journeys and my resting places, and you are acquainted with all my ways. Indeed, there is not a word on my lips, but that you, Lord, know it all together. We are seen. We are known. God inhabits every cell and every space of each one of us, our being, and loves us anyway. Feel that. Let that sink into your body. Feel that you are the beloved. No matter what you've done, no matter how you think you've not added up to enough, you are the beloved. This alone is the sure and certain source of our security, our safety, and our esteem. This is the fig tree on which we all hang. And we all hang there together. Amen. Today's call to action aimed at what is right, struck me this week. I looked in my checking-in account and I saw there was a $600 deposit from the United States government. $600 I had not counted on. $600 I honestly don't need. Of course, like everyone else, I'm grateful for it. But when I am completely honest, I could have lived without it. And it occurred to me that there might be others of you who are in that same boat. Happy to have it, but don't really need it. So what could we do to pass that money on to people who actually really do need it? So what I'm doing is starting a fund, Apostles Cares for Catalina, and inviting anyone who wants to consider giving all or a portion, of their $600 government fund check to Apostles Cares for Catalina. And those monies will be used to take care of families who literally are impoverished. Families who don't have computers, families who don't have food, families who don't have adults caring for them. So I invite you this week to prayerfully consider how you might want to do that. And if you choose to do so, bring a check, mail a check, a note on it, Apostles Cares for Catalina. And 100% of those dollars will go to care for families who actually really do need it.